Hello, everybody. It's Jeremy Hritz here for a brand new episode of the Traders Podcast here from Courage Pays Better Than Fear Trading. I am super excited to be here with you today for episode number 8. We are closing out the month of February, my favorite month of all. March starts on Friday, March 1st. It's going to be Make It Happen March. I've got some big goals for myself. I hope you do as well. And little known fact, and I always joke with my kids about this. I'm like, do you know daddy's favorite month is March? And they're like, why? It's terrible. There's nothing going on. You have St. Patrick's Day, and that's it. You can have all these other months that are cool, that could be your favorites. But man, there's just something about the arising of spring. The sunshine's coming out. You got flowers coming out. It gets a little bit warmer, and I just start to get all geeked up, jacked up, and definitely ready for March 1st. So hopefully you are as well. Hopefully you've had a successful February, a healthy February. We're going to wrap up the month with what should be a fun episode. And I want to spend some time talking about the importance of trusting your trading voice. And as a former teacher, I was a high school English teacher before I became a principal. We often talked a lot about your voice in writing, letting yourself come out through your writing. And in trading, a similar concept applies. And those things that really stand out to you, that you align with, that just feel great, they feel comfortable, you feel confident doing them in your trading, those are the things that you need to double down on. And we're going to talk about that today. And I'm also going to get into a new segment that we're going to start the show with called 3 Trading Questions. So we'll get there in a second. But just want to take a moment to say thank you to everybody who signed up for the Profitable Swing Trading class, which we launched this Tuesday. We have our next class coming up on Thursday. It's been a lot of fun, highly engaged audience, and very excited to be sharing my knowledge with all of you in that class. So kudos to you for signing up and for learning. And hopefully once you're finished, you can make some serious profits in the market through your swing trading. I do want to point out there that I am going to be teaching 2 more classes, one starting in April called Options 1, one in May that's Options 2. It's the second part of that class. So options are just another element, another instrument that can be traded in the markets. Looking forward to teaching those 2 classes. And then in June, I'm going to be teaching my free day trading class. So be on the lookout for that. I'll have more information coming on Facebook for those courses. But it's just so much fun for me to teach this stuff, and I'm looking forward to doing that, and I'm looking forward to seeing my swing trading peoples on Thursday. So, new segment here, 3 questions through a question mark up there, and I have 3 questions today that I want to answer, and I get to ask these quite a bit. The first one being, did you have experience trading before you took the leap into becoming a professional trader? The answer to that is no. The only thing that I did in relation to the stock market prior to what I do now is whenever I had some extra money or my kids got money for birthdays or holidays, I would just go into my Vanguard account and I would purchase a few shares of stocks for my kids. And typically it was Apple or an index fund, something along those lines. And I would just buy and hold. Now, I've learned so much since then about how to actively invest and generate better profits, but that's how I started. And the reason why I started buying stocks is because, I'm a voracious reader. I'm always reading. And, I used to, read books about just self-improvement, and I would read a lot about the markets and how you want to put your money to work for you. And so that's why I invested for my kids early on, and I actually built up a sizable chunk of change for them for college. But that was the extent of my experience. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just buying it. I had some extra money. Oh, hey, let's just buy some Apple. I wasn't looking at price points or anything like that. But that's how I got started. And it was fun for me. But that was the extent of my experience. I knew nothing about candlesticks, support and resistance, any of that craziness. That was a completely new world for me. So for anybody out there saying, I don't know anything about trading, I can't do this, this guy did it. You can do it. The next question This is actually a two-part question, so this will finish out the three questions here. What do you enjoy least about trading? And that'll be followed up, what do you enjoy the most? So, what do I enjoy least about trading? Losing. I hate losing a trade. And what makes that even more difficult is losing is part of trading. But man, it's still, even today, losing a trade, especially after you make progress, you're stacking your gains and you get a loss that comes in. It's just like, man, this stinks. So I'm getting better. I'm a much better loser than I was. But that's something that I'm constantly working on, is getting more comfortable with that feeling of losing, leaning into it, feeling it, experiencing it, because this is what I'm doing for forever. And, God willing, healthy and everything like that. But I've got to become a better loser. Now, what do I love the most about trading? So much, so much. But the thing for me, I just love the results. And I love to see it, at the end of the day, what did I do? And this is, I'm different from a lot of traders in the sense that I love the pressure of setting a target for myself to say, I want to generate X amount on this particular day or in this particular month. A lot of people will say that that's not the way to trade, but for me, that's what works best for me. When I have clear targets and I have a goal, I'm just more effective. So having that ability to see how I did on any given day at the end of the day and know that I'm responsible for that, to me, that's just a super cool feeling that I enjoy. But honestly, probably the best thing about trading, the thing that I love the most, is I have all the time in the world to do whatever it is that I want. And that's something that I didn't have in my previous career. And it's something that I don't take for granted now. I truly appreciate it. And I'm super grateful for it. The time that I'm able to be at home and spend with my wife and my kids. Um, it's amazing. And the things that I've been able to do over these past couple of years since I have this newfound freedom, it's just a great feeling. So those are the three questions for today. It'll be something that I do each episode, three questions of things that I feel like would be beneficial to all of you out there, all the listeners to the Traders Podcast. If you have questions you want to see me cover, go ahead and throw them in the comments, and I will be sure to cover them in the next show. I also wanted to talk about brokers, right? Which broker should you use if you're going to get started with how I did, just buying shares, and just doing some general investing? And I talked about how I had a Vanguard account. It's a broker that you can go in, you can buy and sell shares. But what I would recommend now that, and this is the brokerage account that I use, it's Interactive Brokers, or you'll hear people call it IBKR. And it's just an outstanding platform. And they pay almost, I think it's like 4.89%, but almost 5% on idle cash that you have in your account. So if you have 10 grand sitting in that account that you're not even actively investing or trading, at the end of the month, they're going to pay you 5%, almost 5% on that $10,000. Now, I don't know about you, but you look at savings accounts out there and what the return is on that, it's pitiful. If you can get that type of return by having your money in Interactive Brokers, it's a no-brainer. But not only that, the trading platform is robust. It's very reliable in terms of getting filled on your orders. You can trade pretty much anything, any instrument in it. So that's what I would recommend. They also have a nice mobile app. So if you have your cell phone, you can monitor any investments or trades there. And a lot of times what I do is I set my trades up on the computer. That's why I'll start them. And then I'll just monitor it here and go do my thing. And that's it. So it's super convenient. But also too, Robinhood is the platform that I use to start trading. Now it's very, very user friendly. It's a great tool for beginners. If you're looking for something that's easy to use, Robinhood is a great place to start. That's where I started before I jumped over to IBKR. Now it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to transfer your funds and your positions over, but it's not too much. But if you're looking just for something simple to start out, Robinhood is also a good place to begin. And really, that's designed for mobile. So check that out. You can't go wrong with either. But if you're going to be serious about this, IBKR. But if you're looking just to start out something fun, check out Robinhood. You can't go wrong either way, because like I say, everybody should be involved in the stock market in some way, right? Be responsible for your money, grow your money. Don't rely on other people to do it for you. You can do this. And I'm living proof of that. So today's topic on the show, episode 8. When you're learning trading, you're learning other people's strategies. You're learning about other people's mindsets. You're learning about other people's indicators. And that's important early on, because you're essentially learning the ground rules, the fundamentals, the essentials. And you're learning this from people who have been in the game, who have been successful in their trading and investing and still are. And their experience gives them the authenticity and the credibility to be able to teach you these concepts. And it's important that we have good teachers, that people who are doing this, that we're learning from. And we want to look at what they're modeling, their strategies, and then we want to implement them, and we want to master it and become effective with those strategies. But eventually, what has to happen as a trader, and this is where you have to be very, very self-aware. Self-awareness is a tremendous part of trading and investing. You have to know who you are as a person, what works well for you, what doesn't. But you have to be aware of what are those things when you're in that learning process, or when you start trading, or when you're experimenting with the strategy. What are those things that stand out to you that you see very, very well on the chart? It could be that when it comes to using exponential moving averages, I'm just throwing a concept out there, that you see them really well and you're able to interpret the price of the stock, where to enter a trade, where to exit a trade using those moving averages. If that's something that stands out to you, or if there's a voice in your head that says, wow, this clicks for me, you have to pay attention to those moments, because it's in those moments where you find your strengths as a trader or investor. One of the things that really leapt out for me early on in trading was this thing that's known as the volume weighted average price, or they call it VWAP. And I noticed a certain pattern that would occur where an exponential moving average would cross through that VWAP. And when that happened, I had a strong edge in terms of how I was going to trade that stock. And practicing it, back trading it, studying it, I was able to turn that into something that I still use today in all of my day trades. And it's highly effective for me. And I learned what the VWAP was from my teachers. I learned what the exponential moving averages were from my teachers. But that crossover was something that I just saw on my own, and it stood out to me, and I felt confident about it. And I paid attention to it, and I practiced it. And it ended up becoming the strategy that I really use all the time. And so it's important that as you're on this journey, you're paying attention to those things, those moments where, like I had, that thing jumps out to you, where you see that crossover and you say, wow, this thing is going to run. And then it does. Because that's the universe trying to tell you, hey, you have a skill here. You have a talent. You have a strength that you really need to explore and understand, because this could take you to tremendous heights in your trading and investing. And so what's important? We want to have teachers. We want to have mentors. We want to have coaches. And you really should. If you're going to do this seriously, you need to have somebody to learn from. But you're going to get to the point, and you'll see this in your journey, where you have learned the foundations, the fundamentals. And now you have to let your own unique trading voice come out, right? You have to be you as a trader. You can't be me as a trader. I'm going to look at charts completely different from someone else. We want to learn the basic fundamental concepts, but in terms of how we trade, you have to trade based on who you are as a person, based on what your strengths are. right? You're never going to replicate and be someone else. And you should never try to do that. And so that's why it's highly, highly important that as you're learning, as you're trading, as you're practicing, as you're growing and developing, you're paying attention to those moments. You're exploring those moments. You're doubling down on those strengths and talents, and you're seeing where that takes you. And what I could tell you, when you find those things and you follow that path, what's on the other side of that is going to be pretty remarkable. So that's what I have for you here. Episode number 8 of the Traders Podcast. Super grateful that you joined me here today for a brand new episode. Again, March 1st on Friday. I can't wait. Let's go. Let's get after it. Super pumped, super amped. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, share with your family and friends. If there's something you'd like to see me cover in the next episode, please let me know that as well. We'll get that on the show. Going to be having some guests coming up here in the next couple of months. Very excited about that. So stay tuned. We're going to have some traders on the show so you can hear about their experiences, because it's better to learn from a lot of different people, not just hear my perspective all the time. But again, thank you so much. Have a tremendous weekend. And remember, courage pays better than fear, especially in the markets. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.